In this video, we're going to look at the Social Attache mailing list feature. The mailing list feature is found under Automation and Mailing Lists. Now here you'll see a list of all the mailing lists that you have configured. Your list is probably going to be empty. I created a sample mailing list here called the RE9 Introduction. Now let's click on here to open up the options. And we'll click on this tile to see the messages. Now these are the messages I have configured, and on the right you can see the delay between each message. So as soon as somebody is popped into this mailing list, subscribed to this mailing list, they will get the first message, the welcome message, because there's no delay on that message. I could add a delay to that message and then they would receive it after that specific delay. Now the second message, I want the second message to appear at a specific time in their mailbox. The open rates for email sent in the evenings is a bit higher than the open rate for email sent during the workday, for example. So I want these emails to be sent at 6 p.m. and that 6 p.m. is their time. So it doesn't matter what time zone I'm in relation to them. They will receive it at 6 p.m. in their time zone. And I want to wait about 12 hours. So if we're halfway through the day, then it won't send it today. It'll send it tomorrow, for example. And then from then on, I want each email to be sent out one day after the email before it. So that's what these delays are for. And they'll all arrive at 6 p.m. because that's one day after the last message. Now, each of these emails is basically nurturing the customer towards making a purchase. You could have an email list that just educates somebody so that they just know how to use a product that they've already purchased, or you can create one that kind of educates them in such a way that they'll want to purchase it. There's two main ways that mailing lists are going to be used. One is in this way, where I've typed in the messages in advance, and then when I pop somebody into this mailing list, they start receiving those messages in sequence until they've gone through the whole list. The other way is where the mailing list doesn't have pre-populated messages, or maybe it just has the one welcome message. Maybe we just have the one welcome message, and when they get popped in, they get the welcome message, and subsequent messages are the ones I type in live. For example, say I'm doing a newsletter, and the newsletter comes out once a week, and the newsletter is relating to events that have occurred in that week. So I don't want to send people messages that were typed a year ago because it's no longer relevant. So in a newsletter format, I might have just the welcome message that they get right away. And then when I'm ready to send out the next installment of the newsletter, instead of adding it as a message to the mailing list here, I would just go to the page before. Let's go there. I would just go to this page here, click send email to the registrants, or send an SMS to the registrants, and everybody who's subscribed to this mailing list will get that message at that time. So those are the two main ways that mailing lists are used, either with a pre-typed message sequence or with a live message that you send off ad hoc as you feel the need. Now, adding and removing people from this mailing list is done through the contact dashboard. So let's go over to the dashboard now. And we'll open up Attache here. And from the contact dashboard here, we have a mailing list subscriptions field, and we can just add somebody to the mailing list like this. Or if they're already added, we can take them off the mailing list just like that. And once they're on the mailing list, then they'll start to receive those messages that are in the list. Let's go back to the mailing list feature now, under Automation. And let's look at how we might create a mailing list of our own. So we go to the I Want To menu, and we select Create Mailing List. And we'll give our list a name. Now the pause feature here is used if you have a mailing list that's sending out messages to people on a regular basis, and then you want to pause it for a period of time and then start it up again later. Maybe you want to make some changes to it, you want to add some messages in the middle of it or something like that. You might want to pause it, and that way nobody on the mailing list will be getting any messages until you unpause it. Now the notifications feature, this allows you to get notified via SMS or email when people on this mailing list have new contact histories created via the mailing list. And we have the associated tag here. Now this is a way of associating a tag with a mailing list. So if you add the tag to a contact, for example, they get added to the mailing list automatically. And if you remove the tag, they get removed from the mailing list automatically. And vice versa. If they get added to the mailing list, they get the tag added. And if they get removed from the mailing list, they get the tag removed. So this is a way of associating a tag with a mailing list, a one-to-one association. And the main reason you would want to do that is if you want to control your mailing lists from the apps on your device. If you want to add somebody to a mailing list from the app on your device, the only way to do it really is through tagging. So we can create an association between a tag and a mailing list. And then in future, when we want to add somebody to that mailing list, we can do it from our device, from the Contacts app on your phone, for example. So right now we're going to add this fitness tips mailing list. And we're going to click on it here. And we'll click on the tile for designing the mailing list. And to get started, we just need to put it into edit mode and drag our first message onto the page. Now the title at the top is for something, it's just to help you figure out which message this is. It's not something that anybody else is going to see. So for example, you could just put message 1, message 2, message 3, or you could say this introduction message, and then nurture message 1, nurture message 2, nurture message 3, and then closing, or whatever names you want to give them just to make it a little bit easier on you. Another way you could do it is use the subject line. Like just copy the subject line up here. Whatever is easiest for you. And then we have this delay field here. Now this is how you identify how long to wait before sending the message and at what time. So I could say I'm going to wait 15 minutes after they're dropped into this mailing list and then they get the first message. Or we could say wait 12 hours and then say 9 a.m. to get the first message. So these are the delays between messages, and because this is the first message, it's the delay from the time that they're subscribed to the mailing list to when that first message gets sent out. So in this case, I'm just going to make it no delay. Usually the welcome message you want sent out right away. And then the rest of it is just like sending an email. And usually you'll want to tell the person a little bit about what to expect from being subscribed to this mailing list. And I'm also letting them know they can unsubscribe by clicking on the link that's at the bottom of each email. And Social Attache manages the unsubscribes for you. So if somebody clicks that link at the bottom email, they automatically get unsubscribed from the mailing list. So this example here is for sending out an email in a mailing list. Now a mailing list can contain emails or text messages or Facebook Messenger messages. So we support those 3 types of messages inside a mailing list. And you can mix and match those. You can have a mailing list that sends out a couple of emails, then sends out a text, then sends out a couple of emails, or vice versa, and mix and match them, as long as you're sure that everybody in that mailing list, everybody who's subscribed to that mailing list, has both an email address and a mobile phone number associated with their contact. Otherwise, you'll get a warning, you'll get a task created saying that there's an error in the mailing list because somebody doesn't have the required contact information. So let's just save this first message here, the introduction. And we'll keep adding more messages to this mailing list with the same process. Just drag them onto the page here and then go through the process of filling out the information. Then at the end, you just click Save. And now you're ready to go and add people to this mailing list, to subscribe to this mailing list. Now, if you want to see who's on this mailing list, you can also go to Registrants, and that'll bring up a list of all the people who are registered for this mailing list, and you can bump them off the list if you like. And that's it for the mailing list feature.